Why, hello there. Welcome to the 85th episode of Under the Radar. What a wonderful day to be back. It is a little bit chilly out where I'm hanging out right now in the Ozarks. Looking forward next week to peacing out and going to Southern California for a week and hanging out for my birthday, getting all the audio done for the red tape. The artwork is being worked on as I speak. Mr. Matt Scheck of Flowers for Dorian, who I've covered in the past, has a company called Slap Ass Creations, and he is creating the cassette template and poster for this next release. It's been a long time coming, so I look forward to talking more about that when I return. I may elaborate a little bit more at the end of this episode, but let's go ahead and get into today's band that I will be covering. The band that I'm covering today is a band that relates back to some past episodes. Number one, I covered a band called The Skywriter, their debut EP, Miles Away, and you can get the history on that band. The singer of that band went on to form today's band. However, I recently covered the first song that he ever put up on MySpace as this band, Bright Like Japan. I released that first song. It was an acoustic demo that he recorded on his laptop. And again, it was included on the alarm comp on that CD, which you can go to Bandcamp and check out if you'd like. I will not be playing that song today because I played it in that past episode. But as I said, today's band, Bright Like Japan, features singer-songwriter Mike Sanfilippo, previously of The Skywriter and Down for the Count, and I believe he even had a solo career for a while. And currently, I will say this, I know I talked about this in the Bright Like Japan episode, but he is currently under the alias Bronx, and he is signed to Rock Nation. So go check him out, go check his new music out. He's written a lot of material for other artists as well. A phenomenal talent from the Chicagoland area, and this was a big turn for Mike, because he went from playing in The Skywriter, which was this jangly emo rock kind of thing, maybe more adjacent to somewhere in between All American Rejects and Gin Blossoms or something like that. I feel like that's a safe place to put The Skywriter. And with this project, while the first demo was very acoustic and very chill R&B soul kind of vibe going on, the vibe of this EP, which I don't think there's any other released material out there by Bright Like Japan, is a lot more akin to funk and soul and R&B. I guess for lack of a better comparison, I would say somewhere in between maybe early Maroon 5 and John Legend. Somewhere in that camp is where I would say this sits. And so this CD, I went to the record release show for this album. First time seeing Bright Like Japan while I was getting the alarm comp together, or I think I had just released the alarm comp. And so I went to see their record release show at the Double Door in Chicago and was very impressed by their live performance. Got myself this CD there. It came out in 2009, self-released. It was produced by Dustin Bennett. The photography was done by Courtney Beckett, who is Bill Beckett of the Academy is his sister, and the design was by Colleen Bennett of the layout for the artwork. Other members in this band include Trevor James on guitar, which I guess that's kind of the way they decided to represent this project, was the two of them collaborating as songwriters. And then on bass for this EP, they had Dorian Duffy, and on drum duty, they had Mr. Rob Andre. And they did a bunch of shows during this time, all over Chicago, all over the suburbs. I remember them playing Dirty Nellies. I didn't go, but I remember just seeing them on a lot of different bills at this time. And so let's get into some of the songs. The opening track on this EP is entitled Reverse.
And I would say every word in reverse. If I marry you to come back home, and I would call you just to talk through, justify why we seem to argue. You say that I'd replace it
Now, immediately upon that listen, you can tell what I'm talking about here. There's that funk kind of thing going on, right? It definitely reminds me of that first Maroon 5 record, the Songs About Jane, a little bit. Mike's voice, again, I know I talked about this in the Alarm Comp episode, but night and day difference. This is where I feel that Mike really started to blossom and go from the caterpillar to the butterfly. It wasn't that he was bad before, he wasn't, but his vocal skills just increased substantially, I think, going from the Skywriter to Bright Like Japan. And well, I'll play you my favorite song on this EP, the second song. It's entitled Call My Name.
Call my name every time you're with him. Tell him why your lips, they look for me. I drown that wish that a boy could make you forget everything I gave. Selfishness was a bitter kiss you hid. Guilty eyes was probably next in line. But call this love, how dare you, gotta put in what you want out. I was getting over you while you were under me. Then I let you go, I found it hard to breathe. And you stopped me then, sharing your lips with him. But I saw the light, and your colors, they shine bright. Call my name every time you need him. Tell him why your eyes, they drop for me. I drown that wish that his words could make you admit that he was more than what I gave. Oh, faithfulness was a word you couldn't live. Guilty eyes is not what you deny. But call this love, how dare you, gotta put in what you want out. But what we know we are, we were. I was getting over you while you were under me. Then I let you go, I found it hard to breathe. And you stopped me then, sharing your lips with him. But I saw the light. And just 'cause he's a good boy don't mean he's a good boy for you. Just 'cause he's a good boy don't mean he's a good boy for you. And just 'cause he's a good boy don't mean he's a good boy for you. Oh, and just 'cause he's a good boy don't mean he's so good. And just 'cause you're a good girl don't mean you're a good girl for me. I was getting over you while you were under me. Then I let you go, I found it hard to breathe. Then you stopped me then, sharing your lips with him. But I saw I was getting over you while you were under me. Then I let you go, I found it hard to breathe. Then you stopped me then, sharing your lips with him. But I saw the light, and your colors, they shine bright.
I don't know if you hear what I hear in this song, but again, you can hear Mike's skill set is just, his voice is like butter, baby. And the lyrics, something about him also is that I feel like the Skywriter was a little more straightforward in their lyricism, while he focused a lot more on wordplay and being clever with the Bright Like Japan project. And you can really hear it in like, the chorus is genius. It's, I was getting over you while you were under me. The wordplay and the double meanings is so good. And then the bridge, it's very simple, but his bridge to that song really takes you to another place. It's beautifully written, melodically speaking, but the lyrics, again, with just 'cause he's a good boy doesn't mean he's a good boy for you. Just 'cause you're a good girl doesn't mean you're a good girl for me. Like that whole, well written. Great job, Mike. I love that song. I think I'm gonna play one more off of this EP, and this song is entitled Unlock.
Stop me now by clicking all my calls. I don't break for leisure fate. My tongue say I was so. Well, I refuse to let you by. I stand my ground, even if you cry.
Another great track. I'm just reminded as I look at the back of this CD, the time, right? Like this was right after like the recession started in 2008, like a year after that. And I guess this is something that I kind of missed out on because I just wasn't into a lot of like rock and stuff. I know that this was like maybe during that neon pop punk phase, which like I said, I completely missed all that stuff. Wasn't into a lot of the music that was popular at the time. But these guys I think they took a pretty hard left turn away from a lot of what was going on. However, during the neon pop punk thing, you also had this little like subgenre, a little moment for this thing called R&B mo. And I feel like Bright Like Japan could have snuck in, but they weren't quite into the emo. They left again. Mike took a left turn away from what he was doing with Skywriter, and just really went for a very organic, clean, funk, soul kind of R&B style with what he was writing with Trevor. And I just think that this is definitely a breath of fresh air for that time, and I listened to it very fondly when I listened back to it. But remembering again, like the back of the CD, when I look at, this was when MySpace was still the thing, right? Like now we have other forms of social media, but I just remember getting this at the Double Door and looking at the back of it and thinking to myself, they don't have a website, you know, like they didn't have their own brightlikejapan.com or anything that they were advertising. It was just like, find us on MySpace, find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube, you know, that's cool. But I always sort of, and it's no dig at them, it's just, you know, now I think we've gotten back to that. Like I think bands are like, no, I want my own website, you know? So, not that was bad, but I guess it is kind of bad if you really only rely on MySpace. And that was something that bothered me about what was going on around that time with music, the music industry. There was just so many shifts going on. That was just one little thing to note for the historical record on my behalf, in my opinion. There was one other time, however, that I did get to see Bright Like Japan, and I went and saw them at the House of Blues in Chicago. They opened for Matt Santos, and if you don't know who Matt Santos is, he worked with Lupe Fiasco on his very first record and some of his other records as well. But just for the record again, Food and Liquor by Lupe Fiasco is one of my favorite records from the first decade of the 2000s. It's just, he really brought something fresh and organic, and just the production on that record is phenomenal. And but yeah, so Matt Santos, who they opened for at the House of Blues, sang on probably my favorite song by Lupe Fiasco, American Terrorist. And so that was a cool little thing that they got to open for him. Went and saw that show, and then I really didn't hear anything of them. And within a year after that, I had put up some releases with Boom Juice, and pretty much pieced out of Chicago to go to New York, and then the last I had heard, Mike was doing Michael S, doing a bunch of EDM kind of dance music, and I lost touch with pretty much everybody in Chicago. And as my story continues, and as these last 15 episodes till I hit 100, that is, of Under the Radar, go on, you'll hear a little bit more about that as that approaches. But yeah, as I said at the beginning of this episode, Mike is now signed to Rock Nation under the alias M. Bronx. So please go and check Mike's other work out. And if you like what you hear, definitely go on Discogs and try to find the Bright Like Japan 5-song EP, self-released in 2009. Definitely worth your time. Great release. Shoutouts to Mike, aka M. Bronx. Proud of you, bro. Proud of all that you've done. You're a lifer, and I appreciate lifers like myself that just create, because we gotta create. So cheers to you. And in other news, I would like to say that man, this artwork for this red tape is looking mighty fine. There's just so much I can't talk about, but I feel like I'm going from survival mode now to thrive mode. And that being said, I'm in a place collecting new seeds for creativity, and I'm looking forward to more releases in the future, in addition to the red tape, which will drop sometime this year. So I will be back from California. Maybe I'll even film the next episode in California of Under the Radar. I'm going to be covering a band called Victorian Halls, so maybe I'll go to the beach and just prop up my phone and film it there or something, just to get a little, moment in time, little time capsule of that moment of the vacation. So anyway, I don't really have anything else to report, but if you want to support me, go to samswansonmusic.com/store. I have shirts, I have vinyl, I have CDs, I have posters, I have cassettes, I have buttons and stickers and all kinds of stuff. So I would really appreciate it if you supported me there. Get yourself some physical goods. I would love to send them out to you. And also check out embracismcoaching.com. I am here to help if you need any sort of help into the future, and any sort of beneficial presence that I can be as a coach. I would love to do that if you need that sort of help. Yeah, so I'll be back soon, and thank you for your time.